All right, fed up because leaders on the Hill won't listen up. Hi, everyone, and welcome up Neil Cavuto. And I want you to think about that. While everyone else is painting this entire House shakeup as a Republican civil war, I think it just comes down to civility. I mean, imagine how you would feel if your boss refused to listen to your ideas and further punished you if you dared question hers. Time and time again. Doesn't do much for productivity in the workplace, doesn't do much for political peace in that, well, D.C. place. So is this really about a revolt or the rank and file of finding their bosses revolting? Ben Stein, Charles Payne, Dega McDowell, along with Adam Lashinsky and Charlie Gasparino. Charles Payne, is that what's going on?
That's part of it. I think the rank and file you're talking about a little bit upset because the current speaker seems to give more respect to the opposition, seems to be more enthralled with the position and the dynamics of the position itself and his relationship with Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama rather than the constituents, particularly the grassroots constituents. It's at the heart of what's going on with the whole GOP, but that's where it's been focused at recently.
What do you think, Blake?
I know how they feel working for you. You don't listen to me.
Incredible.
You ignore my
There's a reason why you're
ideas.
It's like the guy at Creedmoor banging on the door. Do not pay attention.
So you're comparing the House conservative Republicans as
to Creedmoor.
Lunatics from Creedmoor.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
It is lately a goulash of idiocy. You have to admit that. Listen, if you're the boss, you cannot, an elected boss, you cannot let a few stubborn, obstreperous employees dictate how you do your job.
Gee, is big words on me.
That doesn't make any sense, and that's what's going on. The Republicans are eating their own rather than focusing on getting their eyes on the prize,
they feel
the White House.
They feel like, and I know what they're saying because I work for Neil Cavuto, but they feel
you
like
don't work for anyone. You work for yourself.
They feel like that, that John Boehner and McCarthy and that whole leadership group cares more about what Obama thinks than what they think.
Well, that's what he just said.
Or the mainstream media thinks.
That's the truth.
Now, Adam, all I'm saying on this is I think there are a lot of people who feel slighted, they feel ignored. It didn't start out that way. They felt that, look, I talked to many congressmen and women this week who said, I had a great measure. I had a bill with over 200 sponsors, bipartisan. I couldn't get it even into the committee. I couldn't even get the speaker to take it up. These stories are legion. And by the way, not just with this speaker, with the prior one, it's the institution itself that is badly flawed. What do you think?
Well, I think good managers absolutely have to listen to their people, but to a point. And I think I think Kevin McCarthy then started pandering to what he perceived to be what he had to do to get elected, and that didn't work out for him so well. So I think on balance, good managers have to listen, but more importantly, they have to lead. And I think John Boehner is an example of someone who tried to lead under very difficult circumstances, very difficult.
Hard.
Wait. Adam Lashinsky is praising John Boehner.
As President Obama did when he called him a patriot on the day that he resigned.
I was like, after someone retires or leaves, then there are wonderful things. It's like people pop up at a fuel. There was a good guy.
Fair enough.
There was a good guy. Ben Stein, what do you make of all this?
Well, I'm reminded of my old boss and dear friend Richard M. Nixon, who said long ago in private, and he's deceased now, by the way, he said, well, you have to remember, Ben, that most Republican congressmen are not fit to be dog catchers. No. And obviously that is not true of the present crew of Republicans in the House, who are fine people. But I don't know what it is the Tea Party wants. I don't know what it is that the far right in Congress wants. I mean, they're the ones who got us to have sequestration, which weakened our defense. They have no plan whatsoever to balance the budget. I don't know what they want. I mean,
there was a national security.
I don't know what they want.
But there was just on the point of sequestration. This just sticks in me a little bit. There was a national security out on sequestration. You didn't have to cut the military. President Obama, I spoke with Bill Daley about this, his former chief of staff.
I know, but the Republicans went along with it.
But they chose.
Charlie, the Republicans went along with it.
Well, by the way,
I know what they want.
The budget. But here's the
by the way, sequestration, may I point out, was like a backup backbone for guys on both parties who didn't have it. I mean, it was not nearly as
Neil,
the way they portrayed it.
It's a disaster.
Go ahead, Adam.
In the literal sense of the word, I mean, these people are radicals. If you want to put it in a corporate sense, they don't agree with the mission of their company. It would be as if, I say, well, we don't want to sell that product.
This is an important point, Adam. Think of what you're saying. The one side is belligerent because it doesn't want to spend as much. Your side isn't belligerent because it's perfectly fine doing so.
No. I'm actually not judging them. I actually
think you are.
they have.
You disgust me.
I disagree with them. No, they have.
Adam is the reason why the Republicans are revolting against the establishment because
they find him revolting.
Well, no, they hate the fact that John Boehner kisses and hugs Nancy Pelosi.
Oh,
that he
please,
does.
that's
Oh,
nonsense.
no.
Yes,
Come
Charlie.
on, come on.
Charlie,
They
you're
feel that
veering
he
into
gives
the- into
aid
your
and comfort
nonsense
to the
repertoire.
enemies, and that's why. Listen, just think about
please.
it. Adam Lashinsky likes John Boehner. That's why they hate John Boehner.
Well, here's the thing.
I think John Boehner tried very hard to do his
I know.
job.
I've been to quite a few Tea Party rallies. I've even spoken at some.
There's a fox alert.
And I will tell you what they want, okay? And they wanted to see backbone. They wanted to see a fight. You know, they
But
wanted
a fight
to see.
to shut the government
bring
down.
down the federal government. They don't like
it's not a
it.
fight to no end. It's like you watch a movie like a Braveheart. When you see someone go against the odds, even though they lose that particular war, it's the impetus. To
you
win,
know what happened to
it's
him?
The impetus to win the battle. Instead,
There's just no point
John
in
Boehner
fighting.
took everything.
Didn't
He looked
work
at the
out
numbers
so
and said, "We can't win it, so why fight the skirmish?"
instead
and
it's
this is
turned
what they
Well, he was
wanted.
right.
They
He
want
was totally
someone to
right.
fight. They want someone to stand up for once
but
and
what's
fight,
the
even if
point
the
of
numbers
Charlie?
are against them.
But it turned into fighting
Charles,
for
what's the
nonsense.
point?
They're blaming this faction in the Republican Party. It's 16% of the GOP representatives in the House.
Right.
They're fighting. They're saying that it's basically the other Republicans' fault
Why don't
of
you
why
just
the
admit that
economy.
Boehner's a lousy-
Can I just finish
lousy
my
leader?
sentence? Can I just finish
Yeah,
my sentence?
please.
They're blaming the
it's a
other
run-on.
Republicans for this. The lousy economy. They're blaming the other Republicans for Obamacare or not getting
Might I
rid of
point
it.
out
And I
to
just
you?
think
Might
it
I point
is
out
a
to you? They
pointless
made
fight.
John Boehner Speaker of the House. Okay.
No, he got elected.
I'm not saying that
They
Kevin
made it
McCarthy-
possible for
I
him
thought
to be
it was-
Speaker of the House.
I
So
thought
he
it was
sucked at
lunacy
it.
that they picked him.
I'm
He
not-
sucked at it.
If they want,
not dismissing
if they
it.
want, if they
From
want
John
Boehner
Boehner.
gone, they
Let's-
don't
let's-
move in a
let's be
proxy
clear.
for
Let's
Boehner.
just
Well,
be
no,
clear.
I want to bring Ben Stein
sucked
in
at
because
it.
he could offer some maybe wisdom here. But what do you think happened, Ben? What do you think went wrong?
I think that Mr. McCarthy thought, I do not want this job. It's a terrible job. I'll be dealing with a bunch of nutcases all the time. They'll be harassing me and making my life miserable.
Well, what
I'm not
changed
a
in
young
24
man. I don't
hours?
want to
What
throw
changed
a-
in 24 hours?
Well, I think what changed probably was he got representations in person from a group of nutty people, and he thought, I don't want to have to deal with them all the time. Life is short, and I don't want to have to deal with them all the
But,
time.
Neil-
But look, leadership does not mean shutting down the government for no purpose except to deprive
Right.
the Republicans of a
That's the-
majority.
Thank you. Amen.
Government
How would you
shutdowns
know?
don't
But
do
you know,
anything.
but you know what, Ben? It's very hard for a guy that cries at the drop of a hat to take charge and
please,
tell
Charlie.
that, and it's ridiculous.
What's wrong with crying?
Every
back,
time the
Neil.
guy
Charlie,
you made
cried.
me cry.
He
Here's the
was
thing,
he
though.
Go
was
back
a
half
wimp.
a step.
He was
Go
a
back
wimp.
half a step. The difference between Boehner and his detractors is that he was in a position to govern. He had to try to govern. So,
But
by
How
the
many
way,
times
here's
did
the
Tim
problem.
O'Neill
Here's-
cry?
Here's the
and
problem,
the
though,
others?
guys. Here's the problem, though.
Hold on,
And-
Charles. Hold on. It'd be great if they had a govern. I mean, it would be interesting if one of them became speaker and then they had a govern. I mean,
You're
it
right.
would be
And Boehner
fascinating.
said as much, not as nicely as you said it. But here's the point: we're talking about leadership, and we're talking about calculated leadership. I think we're talking two different things. Every major revolution in the world started with the minority fighting the majority against all odds.
Agreed.
That's all the people in the party are saying is that occasionally let's
don't
put up a
disagree with
fight,
you.
even when it looks like we're
They're
not going to
still
win.
PO'd about the bailout. Get over it and move on.
Okay.
Do you
but-
see the bigger picture here, though? Do you see what's going on nationally? Do you see the popularity of Donald Trump or Ben Carson or Carly Fiorina?
But what are they?
There is an anger
But what
at
are-
the establishment
but
that never gets
Neil,
anything
but
done.
it's
Neil, what do
not-
they
but
like
it's-
about Trump?
But
What
it
do they
is-
like
it is
about Trump?
unfocused.
Hates the system.
No. They
No.
like about Trump that he is a leader, that he's not going to get up there and cry, that he's going to take charge. And I think
No,
that's
that
the
is-
problem.
no.
Oh, right.
You
They
don't think
Boehner
that
hardly
they
ever
like
cried.
Donald. Well, they don't like him
He
because of
hardly
his
ever
hair.
cried.
Okay. They don't like him because of his hair. Okay, we know that. But they
He
like
was a
him that he's a
sensible,
top.
decent guy.
Who is?
He's a sensible,
Well,
decent
so's a
guy.
lot of
Boehner.
these
Who is,
guys.
wait a minute, who's a sensible, decent guy?
He's no Tip O'Neill.
Boehner.
Boehner, and it's sad to see him go. It's really, really
No,
sad to see him go.
you
And
gotta
I think
be-
so is McCarthy. And the government shutdowns are just nonsense
Neil,
and suicidal. We're
Ben-
talking about suicidal behavior by
Ben,
the
I
GOP.
agree, but you have to be more than a guy that cries and hugs Nancy Pelosi. You got to be more like Tip O'Neill.
Well, Mr. Macho Man, there's nothing
what's
wrong with
hugging her? She's kind of cute.
There's
nothing wrong with being civil.
Let me add one thing.
We need more civility.
Let me add one thing. Take it from a rageaholic. Unfocused anger gets you nowhere.
Well,
that's what is driving the Republican Party.
Get a leader, and that's why they like Donald Trump.
Unfocused anger gets you nowhere.
No, it only gets you into trouble and in cuffs.
Okay.
That's why you have management.
Look at the time. All right, now, Hillary is taking on Wall Street bosses. You should see how she is taking on her old boss. I'm telling you, that's the story no one's talking about.
Today on Forbes on Fox, union workers going berserk over there. Well, now the president is fighting to boost unions here. What's that going to mean for the rest of us? And now the Republicans are cleaning house. Are taxpayers about to clean up? We'll see at the top of the hour.